of your sale. This is where somebody is sold. You know how people say, oh, just get people to sell themselves, like instead of you selling them, and you're like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, I'm gonna teach you. Okay, it's called the triad method. It looks like this. Should we start over? Yeah, I feel like that might be better. Okay, let's start over. I would save this video and come back later if you don't have the time because it might get a little lengthy, okay? But you need to remember that in sales, whenever you say a statement, you give somebody something to disagree with. So the more that you talk, the more words you say, the more somebody's gonna disagree with you because they see you as a biased sales rep just trying to sell them something, okay? So what we need to do is we need to create internal light bulb moments with our client. So the way that we do this is question-based selling. We ask them questions in order to get them to sell themselves. But this is how you actually do that, okay? So the very first group of questions that you want to ask somebody is current state, what they're doing right now. You know, what their problems are right now, why they wanted to book a call, what's going on in their life right now, what the problems are, etc. The types of questions you ask are 3 types. Okay, and you can kind of go back and forth between the 2. Again, make it a genuine human conversation over anything, but this is a good guide, okay? Surface level questions, deeper rooted questions about the emotions behind the issues. And then this is the most important one is you want to get a KPI around like the problem right now. You want to quantify it. How much money is this person making right now? If you're a closer on a fitness offer, how much do they weigh? If it's to buy rental properties, how many rental properties do they have right now? What's the cash flow? Like you want to quantify their problem and their baseline right here for current state. So now that you figured out where somebody is, you really dove deep into it, you had this whole like 5-10 minute conversation, whatever, then we immediately transition into future state, which is asking people questions about their goals and allowing them to live in, you know, the moment of feeling like they already had the thing. You know, let's say in 6 months, everything works out. Take me through your day. What does that look like to you? What does success look like to you? Again, same thing, SDK, surface level questions, deeper rooted questions, and attach a KPI to their goal. You need to be able to put a finger on where exactly somebody is right now and where exactly they want to be. Because if you've ever heard this before in sales, it's called gap selling. You need to expose the wide open gap between where somebody's at versus where they would want to be given they solve the problem and obviously buy what you're selling. This gap is the problem. Okay, sales is a problem and solution exercise over and over again. You listen and you crank over and over again until you create a problem. Because then when you show them what you offer, that's obviously the solution to the problem, okay? So you can't solve anything that doesn't have a problem. I digress. The next part is PO, okay? It's like BO, but PO. You need to preempt any sort of objections. My favorite one to preempt, especially right here, is gonna be time and urgency, okay? So right after you ask somebody, you know, in 6 months, everything works out, take me through your day, they're feeling good. They're feeling as if they have the thing. But then I kind of remind them and I'm like, okay, and I mean, let's just kind of bring it down to reality because that's obviously if we implement this and over the next 6 months, everything works out. But as of now, we haven't implemented anything, okay? So in that same day, the next 6 months, if we don't implement anything to solve XYZ issue or to reach XYZ goal, take me through that same day. And now they have to relive the same day, the same 6 month out day, but they didn't solve the problem. And obviously they're gonna say something like, well, it'd probably be pretty similar or might be even getting worse. Okay, then you also wanna preempt any other objections that might come out throughout the rest of the sale. Spouse is one. If they're wearing a wedding ring, I would definitely hit on the spouse objection. If they're talking about, you know, oh, I just went to Italy, but I went in October, it's so much cheaper to go then. Or you compliment like a picture in their background and they're like, yeah, that's the dupe though from Amazon. I would never get a real painting, it's so expensive, whatever. This person might have a price objection, so I would definitely hit on that. And the last one is gonna be process. So if at any point throughout your question-based selling you find out that somebody's used a competitor before and they didn't love it, or maybe they already have a plan B kind of cooking in their head of some way that they could solve the problem on their own, or maybe they already used someone, you would want to hit on process objections, that way they don't come up later into the sale. But just to recap, you ask people questions about where they're at, where they want to be, they're stressed right here, they feel really good up here, and then they go back to being stressed of seeing like the cost of an action. What happens if they don't make a change? You preempt any objections, and this is how you do question-based selling in a sales call. This should take you 15, 20 minutes. This is the meat of your sale. This is where somebody is sold. Everybody thinks it's when you're showing them something or overcoming objections. False. All of that will be easy if you do this right. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions.